Right. So question one, which was a company is planning to launch an Amazon EC2 instance with an EBS at the EBS volume in a default configuration. If you charge for your EBS storage when your instance is in which state. So yeah, as indicated is A. And just the explanation for if no one knows. So the point is when you have an normally the different stage in which an EC2 instance is in, right? So before you always have to create an EC2 instance, you always need an AMI, right? And AMI is like think of it like the software, what's carrying the software here. In this case, the software is the operating system that you need to install. So you always pick an EC2 instance first. This was done in the compute. And when you pick an EMI and AMI, you always also have to decide about storage security groups. But the main thing is the AMI. Once you pick that and launch, an instance first goes to a pending state because it's trying to run all the like just like when you want to when you take your laptop and let's say go somewhere for an operating system to be installed, at times they may put a disk which can be related to an AMI to install your operating system. So during that time that is still installing and everything is called off pending state. Once it's ready and everything is up and you can sign in, that's the running state now, right? So when it's running, and then maybe at some point, you may have like Windows updates, and then after you install it, you want to reboot. So you can reboot your instance, it will go to rebooting, and then after that, it will come back to running state, right? And also once it's in running state, another thing you can do is you can press it to hibernate. Most of the time when you just close the lid of your laptop, the instance actually goes to a hibernate because it doesn't shut down, it's not rebooting, but it's kind of like silently working in the background. So it can be called hibernating state. And then you can then shut down. Let's say you don't want to use it, you just go to the shutdown menu. You can go to shutdown. And then the other different thing with the Amazon EC2 is that you can terminate it. That means you can go and delete the instance. Yeah, right. So you have terminated it. So those are like the different stages that an EC2 instance can go through. And so when you stop an instance, AWS shuts it down. AWS does not charge users for a stop instance or data transfer fees, but AWS does charge for the storage of any Amazon EBS volume. So when it's running, AWS will not charge you for the volume, right? But immediately you stop the instance, even though it's in stop stage, what happened is the EBS volume is like the storage, right? That storage is assigned to you. So if the EBS is assigned to you, it cannot be given to another person, and then you'll be forced to pay for it. So AWS charge a minimum of 1 minute for usage. After 1 minute, AWS only charge for the seconds you use. So if you start an EC2 instance, what this means is charges a minimum of 1 minute, is that even if you run the EC2 instance for 10 seconds, AWS will charge at least 1 minute. So even if you start it for 10 seconds, 30 seconds, 1 minute will at least be charged. But after 1 minute, it will then charge you for only the seconds used. So if you use it for 1 minute, 10 seconds, AWS will charge you for 1 minute, 10 seconds, right? Because after 1 minute, it will charge you for seconds now. So it won't round that 10 seconds to 2 minutes. It's good to know those details as well. Yeah. So as you see, by default, EBS root volumes are automatically deleted. That's another point to always remember. The root volume, where the operating system is running, is always deleted when the instance terminates. If you delete an instance, the root volume terminates. However, by default, any additional EBS volumes that you attach and launch will still be existing even after you terminate the instance. This behavior is controlled by the volumes delete on termination attribute, which you can modify. Yeah. So that's just some explanation in regards to this. So the key thing to remember is once you stop an instance, you still pay for the storage. If you terminate the instance, by default, the EBS volume is also deleted. But if you go and change what is called a delete on termination attribute, so that when you delete the instance, the volume still remain, then as long as the volume is existing, you pay for it. Yeah. Any question? Okay. Right. No, good then. No question I have. So the next question will be for you, Maureen. Just try this as well. So in Amazon EC2, which pricing construct adjusts its price based on supply and demand of EC2 instances? So what's key here in this question? The key point.
On
Oh, sorry, I think your line is cracking. I hope it's not only me.
on demand.
Okay. Okay, you say on demand instance, right? Okay. I see Kinye and Guada says C. So the key point is Linda also says C, okay? For instance. So the key point here is which pricing construct adjusts its price based on supply and demand of EC2 instances. Sports instance. So let's take the majority and then get the review. So it's correct, it's C. So why is it C? So remember, Amazon simplified the Amazon EC2 pricing by moving a model that delivers low predictable prices that adjust gradually based on long-term trends in supply and demand. You will continue to save up to 90% of the on-demand instance price, and you continue to pay the spot price as is effective at the beginning of each instance. So is there anyone who wants to explain what spot instances are, what they come about? Anyone who wants to try? Remember, if you're able to explain it, you remember it better. Just in your own words, like what are spot instances? Okay, so let me explain how they come about and then you can try to remember that. So normally in AWS, remember we are talking here about an instance. You can always go and create a virtual machine, right? And a virtual machine is what is the EC2 instance. That's very normal. AWS have enough hardware, you can do that. But AWS is trying to attract people to use their instances very much. So at times when they realize that when they have, if there is enough, if people have launched instances and there is still enough space, when I say enough resources, that's the right word, to launch more instances, and people are not using it, then they will have what they will then advertise it as so spot instances come from available resources that are not in use. So if many people are going and installing and creating EC2 instances, but if it happens that many people have not done so, there's a lot of available resources that can be used to create them. So AWS will give that in kind of like an call it like an offer, right? That if you create an EC2 instance from these available resources, will give you 90% off the normal price. But the difference here is that as more people start creating and they don't still have, and then they no longer have those available resources, they will also tell you that we can take those spot instances away from you. So the thing that is not safe as far as spot instances is that you can take them and you start using them, but if AWS start running out of resources, they will just take that instance from you because they need those resources that is using. And resources here is, remember, is always the RAM and the CPU, right? So spot instances, they have their, so even though it looks like it's not very good, but they have their use cases because there are some workloads where you can use instances, and if they are taken away from you, it can't be an issue. So yeah, so that is like it's always an offer, and then and so that's why the pricing constructs are just is price based on supply and demand. So as long as because there's less demand, you are able to create spot instances, and then also the price will be depending on how much available resources are. And if there's high demand, you may find that it's very difficult to create a spot instance, and at times that price at that time will also be different. So spot instances come from available available resources, right, that are not being in use. Okay, so I want to show what you should also remember. Spot instances for various stateless, fault-tolerant or flexible applications such as big data, containerized workloads, CI/CD, web servers, high-performance computer, test and development workloads. And I know that what is the caching? Yeah, data pipeline, AWS batch, and also for caching. You can use it for workloads that require caching. And you see, AWS always tell you like in 2 minutes notice. You also have the option to hibernate, stop, or terminate. For instance, when EC2, it reclaims the capacity back with 2 minutes notice. So when you are using the instance, AWS will always tell you in 2 minutes that we are going to take the resources. So you have 2 minutes to decide what to do, whether to save what you have in it, or exactly how you would like to do before the instance terminates. Because once that 2 minutes pass, AWS take the resources back. So the use cases of spot instances is also always good. And remember that the notification period, when AWS wants to take back that is 2 minutes. Anyone has questions on that? I hope it's clear, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. So let's go to the next question. That's for you, Kinyui. Which of the following is the most cost-effective payment option when you purchase either a standard or convertible reserve instance for a 1-year term? So which of the following is the most cost-effective payment option when you purchase either a standard or a convertible instance for a 1-year term?
All upfront.
Sorry, you say all upfront?
All upfront, yeah.
Okay. Any support? I see what others says A as well. So the key part of the question is
Most effective payment option.
the most cost-effective payment option. So the most important thing is you must know the different type of payment options that exist, right? And then what they are. So two people says, let's just go there, try and see, and that's correct. So you just have to think this in terms of business, how you do business, and we'll be clear. So let's look at that. You always have a different type of payment options, and what you need to know is what they are. So I'll just go straight to them. They're all upfront option, right? So you have reserve instances, and reserve instances, this is for 1 year. Reserve instances, so when you want to use, if you realize that the on-demand instances, when you realize that, okay, you just need to use an EC2 instance, like maybe for 1 week, and then delete it, because that's the beauty of cloud computing. You can create an EC2 instance, use it, do the work you want, and then you delete it. If you know that you use it for 1 week, it's good to use the option of on-demand instances, right? You use it on demand. Same as if you want to use it for 1 month, same as you want to use it for 2 months, you use on-demand instance. But if you realize that you use it for 1 year, AWS have an offer where they give you a discount, right? That, okay, because it's them like business, right? If you're using something for long, whoever, maybe if you are buying something or a product, the business owner may decide to give you a discount because you are putting a commitment that you use this for 1 year. So if you use it for 1 year, if you say you use it for up to at least 1 year, AWS will give you a discount, and that discount you can pay in different ways. You can either pay all the money, let's say today, if I want to use it for 1 year. When you pay it today, AWS even gives you a much better discount again because you are paying all the money at once. If you pay just some part of the money, AWS, which is called partial upfront, let's say you pay for 6 months and then you will pay the remaining amount, AWS will then also give you another discount that will be smaller than when you pay all of it. If you say you will not pay any amount, you just use it for 1 year and you pay as you go, so it's not upfront. So AWS will still give you a discount, but that discount will not be as partial upfront and will not be as all upfront, right? So that's a general way I can explain what these different options are. So those are the different options you have. All upfront, you pay for the entire reserve instance term with one upfront payment. No partial upfront, you make a low upfront payment and then charge a discount hourly rate for the instance for the duration of the reserve instance term. No upfront does not require any upfront payment and provides a discounted hourly rate for the duration of the term. Those are very important terminologies to make sure that you are good at, right? So I say that on the chat, just in case someone is struggling to remember that. And so that's why the correct answer is all upfront, because you are looking for the most cost-effective payment option. Partial upfront is a payment option, no upfront is a payment option, but the most cost-effective, the one where you make more savings, right, is A. All right, any question?
Good to go.
Great, good to go, thank you. So, oh no, I think Linda lost her connection again. So Guada, we are coming back to you. Which of the following is the most cost-effective AWS support plan to use if you need access to AWS support API for programmatic case management? So the first point in that question is, what is important in that question? What is the phrase that is more important? Yeah.
It's the most cost-effective.
Most cost-effective. Yeah.
Support API for programmatic case management.
Okay. Yeah, that's correct.
I think it's business.
Okay. You say business. What about the others? When do you start using the AWS support programmatic case?
Yeah, I'll go with business as well.
Okay. Two people say business, and the baby also, I don't know what she say. All right. So let's pick business and see. Okay, that's correct. It's business. And in case anyone is missing that, programmatic, where is that again? API programmatic. AWS support API. Am I the one not seeing, or what am I talking about? If someone sees that, please let me know.
It says programmatic case
Case
management.
Who is it?
Second to the last. Yeah, third to the last.
Ah, yeah. Okay, thank you very much. I was like, what's happening? Right. So programmatic case management, right? So in the developer case, it does not exist at all. It exists in the business case because and now we have what is called enterprise on RAM. It exists there. It exists on the enterprise. And remember that when you are moving from left to right, it becomes more expensive. Enterprise is much more expensive. This one is expensive, but not as enterprise. This is expensive, not as enterprise on RAM. So if you are trying to have just programmatic case management or the AWS support API, and you are looking for the most cost-effective option, then you use business, right? So it's important as, yeah, the key thing again is to know in that table and yeah. Let me copy and paste. I know some people, it's in the Lady T did handle this option, so you should see that in your, it's in the notes as well. Yeah, good. So the next question is coming to you, Maureen. A company is currently using an on-demand EC2 instance for their application, which they plan to migrate to a reserved EC2 instance to save on cost. Which of the following is the most cost-effective option if the application being hosted will be used for more than 3 years? So what's the key phrase in that question, or what guide you in answering that question, and then what would be the right one? Yeah.
Currently using an on-demand instance, and then the plan to migrate to a reserved EC2 instance and to save on cost. Most cost-effective option is the
Mhm.
application more than
Mhm. Unfortunately, your connection is a bit low. We can, I heard what, at least I captured some of what you said, but
or upfront standard reserve instant pricing for a 3-year term.
okay. I hear you say B. Okay. Thank you. And that's B. Anyone has a different option? Okay, I see all of you say B. Well, that says B. I see Kinyi says B as well. Okay, so let's go for that. And then see what that says. So I take B, and that's correct, right? So that's just what we were, yeah, we just talked about that as well. So the question here is, a company is currently using an on-demand EC2 instance for their application, which they plan to migrate to a reserve EC2 instance to save on cost. Which of the following is the most cost-effective option if the application being hosted will be used for more than 3 years? You are using an on-demand instance, so you are migrating to a reserve EC2 instance, and you want to save costs. We know that there are type of different options payment. You have the all upfront, you have the partial upfront, and you have the no upfront. So from this question, you have 2 all upfronts. Those are already important. So the no upfront, these 2 are already eliminated because they don't take us anywhere. All upfront standard reserve instance of pricing for a 3-year term. Now that's great because now it's talking about 3-year term. Convertible reserve instance of 1-year term. There's no need because we are going to use that for 3 years, right? So it goes back to knowing the different payment options that exist. Yeah, so I think that's just what we discussed. I just put this on our chat in the previous question. The reason why you should not even use, you should learn what convertible reserve instance is that standard reserve instance provides more savings than convertible reserve instance, which means the former is a cost-effective option. And also the thing is you are doing it for 3 years. So what if you are having issues, anyone, make sure you are very comfortable with the difference between standard reserve and convertible, just read that. And this is a nice diagram, nice comparison here. A standard convertible, how you are charged. Remember that with convertible, the key thing is that you can change the instance family, operating system, tenancy, and payment option. That's one thing that you can do with the convertible instance. You see it's a yes, but you cannot do with the standard instance. At times you see questions that are asking you, you are trying to have a reserve instance where you can change the instance family operating system. That means if you are running Windows in your instance and at some point you want to change it to Linux, it's possible to convert that, so it comes from the name convertible. If you are using a tenancy, you can use shared tenancy or you can use dedicated tenancy. Those are the different type of tenancies we have. You can do that with a convertible. It's a yes, but you cannot do that with a standard. So I'm highlighting that key part in this table. And I think it makes sense to put that table on chat. It's just that you review that, right? Okay, for those key difference between convertible, but that's a key one that I know that comes often in questions, which one you can convert. Okay, I see Isabella and Leslie joined us, so welcome. You have the next questions as well, so everyone is participating. So the next question here is going for Kinyai. Which of the following is a key financial benefit of migrating systems hosted on your on-premises data center to AWS? So what's the key point in that question?
The key point is financial benefits when you're moving from on-premises to AWS.
Okay. Thank you.
So it's you have the opportunity to replace upfront capital expenses with low variable costs. C.
Okay, you pick on C. Right, thank you. Anyone has a different option or support?
C is supported.
Okay, support C, got other support C. What about you, Leslie? Any idea? Okay, I do follow you. Isabella, so yeah, we finished the course, and what we are doing now, we are just revising. We are just doing revision, right, for people preparing for the exam. Yeah, we finished doing the course. It's on our YouTube link channel, the course material. Yeah, so I see, Leslie, you say B, but now let's just think of it again. You are migrating. So there are two terms. We covered this in the introductory models, I think model 1. Opportunity, so let's check what is the right answer. The majority says C anyway, so I leave that. So when you move to AWS, you are always replacing, you replace upfront capital expense with low variable cost. Now B says opportunity to replace variable operational expenses with low upfront capital expenses, CapEx here. Now, when you are on premises, what you are always doing, that's not correct. And just like opportunity to replace upfront operational expenses with low variable operational expenses, that's also not correct. So I'll just try to explain that. So like this diagram shows, when you are on a traditional data center, right, you always have high upfront costs. And what is that? You always have to buy the hardware, right, to come and install on your data center. That's upfront cost. You have to buy the material, buy the resources upfront before you can use them. And then you have variable costs. The variable costs come from managing, it could be now operation, because once you have the hardware, there's some cost of people who are going to manage that. So you also have high variable cost, right? But when you're in AWS, remember that you don't have any hardware. You can just go log into your account and then you create an EC2 instance. So the upfront payment that you are doing, and you can decide what you want to use, right? It's very low. And then the variable cost also is very low. So you are replacing upfront costs with very low variable cost. So that's something you should kind of like remember. We did cover that in model 1 again. So it's just that I don't have the notes there straight away. But just know that in AWS, the key point you should always remember is you're always replacing upfront capital expenses, which is CapEx, with low variable costs. You don't have to pay for the, for when I say compute storage database, you don't have to pay that upfront. But you can just go and start using it and then you pay for it. So one of the key benefits of cloud computing is the opportunity to replace upfront capital infrastructure expenses. With that, the cloud business no longer need to plan for and procure servers and other IT infrastructure weeks or months in advance, right? You don't have to go and buy servers as the resources weeks in advance, but you can instantly spin up hundreds or thousands of servers in a minute and deliver results faster. Right. Anyone has a question on that? I hope it's clear. So that's a key thing. You replace upfront capital expense with low variable cost. Okay. I don't hear any more worries. So let's go to the next question, next person. So I'm coming back to you, Guada, and then we come then Leslie as well. Yeah, so Guada, this is for you. Which service should a company use to centrally manage account policies and consolidate billing across multiple AWS accounts? So what's important in this question? What's the key phrase?
Centrally manage account policies and consolidate billing across multiple accounts.
Okay. And what service will do that?
AWS.
Okay. Say C. What about the others? Can you say C? What about any view? Any other view? Support or against? Okay. So C. So the key. Let's check that and then explain. I see Leslie says C as well. So we have 3 people say C, and that's correct. So the key part of the question is centrally manage account policies and consolidate billing across multiple AWS accounts. That's just the definition of this service, AWS organizations, right? AWS organization helps you to centrally govern your environment as you grow and scale your workloads on AWS. So whether you are growing startup or a large business and all of that, organizations, you can automate account creation, create groups of accounts to reflect your business needs and apply policies for these groups. And so this is a diagram which we should try to have in your mind. So when you do AWS organizations, you always have what is like the root account or the root, this like, not the root account, like the root, it starts with the root, right? Then you create what is called an organizational unit, this, that, OU. And in the OU, an OU organization unit is just like a container that you can either create an AWS account inside, or you can also create another sub organization unit. And in that organization unit, you can also create AWS accounts. And why do you need this? As we've explained earlier on, organizations don't always have just one AWS account. They may want to have an AWS account that belongs to, let's say, human resources, an AWS account that belongs to maybe finance department, or an AWS account that maybe is being used by developers. Or then, they will always have many different accounts depending on how they have set up their organization, how they want to arrange it. And they may decide to have organization units and say, okay, maybe human resources and finance resources, they may have separate accounts, but they will belong in one container called the organization unit. And the advantage of having organization unit is that they can apply a policy depending on how they want those accounts to work. If they apply a policy to this organization unit, then it will influence, they can set influence. And this policies always refers to as SCP, security control policies. So that's another term you should keep in mind when you are thinking of organizations. So SCPs can be applied at the organization level or even at the account level. But the reason why you want to apply it in the OU is that you can then apply to the OU and it will influence all these different accounts. So security control policy is what you have when you are using, it's a way of controlling, of implementing some sort of limitations or control over accounts when you're using organizations, right? So as I always say, when you study a service, why do you need it? So in this case, if you have many accounts and you want to centrally manage them, you can use AWS accounts. And then also remember, when you are using AWS organizations, rather than having the bill always for each account, which can be just too cumbersome, you have one account, which will be the master account and you can then pay your bill through that one account, right? So you may have an organization, there's no need to be having separate bills for each account. You just want that all that is being spent, you pay from one account. So you always have a master account where you do the consolidated billing, right? So that's all you have to remember with organizations. Any question on AWS organizations? I hear none, so I'm sure everyone is comfortable. But then, as usual, you have to remember what's AWS budgets. AWS budgets only gives you ability to set custom budgets that alert you when your cost or usage exceed your budgeted amount. So AWS budgets is just a service that, for example, you may want that in the month of December, you only spent a maximum of 50 euros in your AWS account. So you can then go and configure that and say that once your bill is reaching 50 euros, let AWS let you know. So you do what is called AWS budget, and it will alert you when your cost is exceeding your forecasted amount, in this case, 50 euros, right? So you may say once you have used about 50% of 50 euros, so at 25 euros, you get an alert. Now, Trusted Advisor is just an online tool that provides you real-time guidance to help you provision your resources following AWS best practices, right? So always remember that about Trusted Advisor. It's just to help you. This could be some of the things that it will handle, could be in terms of helping you in security, cost optimization. I always like this diagram about Trusted Advisor, which I will say everyone can have in mind. Because if you can, let me bring that up, I think. If you can always remember this diagram, you see, I think it's, where is it? How it works, right? This one is better. I'll send this. So this one, when you are using Trusted Advisor, what Trusted Advisor is, once you enable it on your account, it will look at how you have configured everything, and it will tell you what you should do to optimize cost. So Trusted Advisor will scan your infrastructure, compares it to AWS best practices in 5 categories. So when you enable the AWS Trusted Advisor, it will scan everything that you have configured, and it will advise you on, you should save cost in this way. It will look and it will see that you are likely going to have performance issues, right? It will look at the security and see if you have configured your security very well. It will see if there's any fault tolerance and service limits. Are you approaching the maximum number of EC2 instances that you can have? And while it's having all these options, it can then give recommended, like you see, it can say investigation recommended, right? For performance, you'll say, okay, I've not seen any problem. If there's a problem, it will then hint you on where it is. Security will say, okay, action recommended, you know. So just when you think of Trusted Advisor, always try to have this diagram in your mind and these key areas, because there are some questions that always try to figure out if you know these key areas that Trusted Advisor work on. Yeah, so when you think of Trusted Advisor, just keep in mind that it's a tool that scans your infrastructure and compares it to best practices in these 5 categories. And once it does, so it will give you. So I'll post that image on chat for you to take a look, and hopefully it will help you remember how Trusted Advisor works. Right? Remember in the AWS practitioner exam, is again the key is, do you know the services and do you know what they're doing? So Cost Explorer, on the other hand, when you think of Cost Explorer, think of it helps you visualize how you are spending, how much you've been consuming, and the cost of AWS cost over time. Right, that's the key thing. It lets you visualize, understand, and manage your AWS cost. So when you look at Cost Explorer, you will see something like this. You see a diagram. I don't know. Okay, I don't know. It's not present here. I think if I don't have my account open, but yeah, it's always just showing how. But the key thing to remember is it helps you visualize and understand and manage your cost and usage over time. Okay. Good. Let's move to the next question. The last one was for who answered? Sorry. Who answered the last question? Someone answered. Can someone say? Was it? Was okay? It was Ada. So the next one is for Maureen. Yeah. Then Kinyai, then Leslie. Yeah, Maureen, this for you. Which of the following actions below will allow you to take advantage of volume discounts in AWS? So what's the key phrase, and then what will be your answer?
Volume discount. Take advantage of volume discount.
In AWS, okay. So take advantage of volume discounts in AWS. Which one will be? Sorry?
A, opt for
Okay.
all connectable instances, instance pricing for a period of time.
Okay. I see Linda says A, Pada says A, and Kinyo says D, right? Okay, so but unless he says D, so I have 3 people say A and 2 says D. Okay, because I'm leaving it on the group again, I will take the majority and we'll discuss. So just hold your answers. 2 people have said D, 3 have said A. So let's see which one is correct. The minority wins this time. So D is correct. There's a trick in this question. Anyone wants to come up and explain? Why is it D and not A? I know at times, yeah, go ahead.
What guided me to go for D is the volume discounts. When we are looking at convertible reserve instances, we're not talking about volume only here. For me, convertible reserve instances are more expensive, as we saw in the question before, the other question. And what else? And consolidated billing with AWS organizations gives you discounts as a whole because of you're using many accounts. I'm not sure if I should use economies of scale here, something like that. No?
Okay. Yeah. Thanks. So, Alice, thanks for explaining that. But definitely on point here is in the direction is, remember, convertible reserve instances has to do with when you want to change your instance family, your operating system, or tenancy, right? It doesn't have to do something with volume discounts here. So, but consolidated billing has a feature that can help you with consolidated billing. You have many AWS accounts. So when you are using volumes, you will look for the accounts where volumes will be kind of like, it will be cheaper for that offer, because AWS is always trying to have customers save costs, because when they save it, they are definitely going to use it more often, right? So AWS normally treats all accounts in an organization as if they were one account. So that's the first thing. We just talk about what AWS organization is. You may have many accounts, but AWS will treat it as if it is one account. Then some services such as Amazon EC2, S3 have volume pricing tiers across certain usage dimensions that give you lower prices the more you use the service. So EC2 and S3 will always benefit from this consolidated billing. So with consolidated billing, AWS combines the usage from all accounts to determine which volume pricing tier to apply. So AWS will look at all the accounts and see which one has the cheapest kind of pricing and then apply that one, the lowest one as possible. So so that's what you do when you are talking about consolidated billing. But one thing I would like to highlight is when you are using AWS organizations, when you enable the consolidated billing feature, then you always have just that feature, right? You are trying to have the cheapest cost for all the time for the EC2 and volume discounts and maybe other things, but the key ones are the other one. But if you enable what is called that should be the standard, what happens is Then you have both the feature when you enable if you enable all features, then you are able to use SCPs as well as consolidated billing. But if you enable just consolidated billing feature, you only use the consolidated billing feature. So if you want to use additional features of organizations like SCP, it's important to enable the all kind of feature set, right? That's just one thing I want to highlight here. But the other questions, so the first one is wrong. If we notice here, the option that says opt for an all upfront convertible reserve instance pricing for a 3-year term, because this type of discount is only applicable for reserve instance and it's not even available to volume pricing. Then the other one that says move your AWS resources from multiple accounts to a single account does not make sense. Yeah, you don't need to do that. We are using organizations. Upgrade to an AWS enterprise support plan. This has nothing also to do with that. It's just a support plan. A support plan doesn't give you discounts. It's just when you choose this support plan, it means that if you have some particular, we have seen the different support plans and what they are. So if you need some kind of support from AWS services like technical account manager, concierge support. Remember, concierge support is a kind of support that has to do with the billing to your account. Technical account manager is just having a dedicated manager in charge of your account. You then go for enterprise support plan. So it has nothing to do with volume discounts. So that one is just out of place. B, yeah. All right. So the next question is for you, Kinyui. Which of the following cost management tools allows you to track your Amazon EC2 reserve instance usage and view the discounted RI rate that was charged to your resources? So which of the following cost management tools allows you to track your Amazon EC2 reserve instance usage and view the discounted RI rate that was charged to your resources? So,
Okay. AWS cost and usage report.
okay. So what was guiding you to pick for that? For those
What
who
is
maybe
guiding me is it should be a cost management tool as the first one, and it can help you to view your discounted cost rate that you have already been charged. So it should be something of the past that you can see. Yeah.
Okay. So you say, which one did you pick again?
Cost
C?
and usage report, yes.
All right, thanks. Yeah, C, cost and usage report. Any of you, I see Maureen, you say A, AWS price list bulk API. Any other person has a view? So we have two answers. Let's just say it's Cost Explorer. That's good. We have more views. So let's see which one is going to win. Now I'm caught up. Okay, Maureen says C. Now I'm caught up with, okay, so two people say C, one say D. So I'll just go for Linda is back, but with no audio. And Venus join us. So yeah, so two people say C, one says D. The key thing is tool that will track your Amazon EC2 reserve instance usage and view the discounted RI that you are charged. So let's see what's the correct answer. So it's C, cost and usage report, right? So now, why is the difference? I now see, okay, C and D. So now what's the difference between cost and usage report and cost explorer? Remember, this allows you to track your EC2 reserve instance usage and view the discounted RI rate that was charged to your resource. That's the view the discounted RI rate, reserve instance rate that was charged to your resource. So the first thing is to know the services again, right? You have to know what is AWS cost and usage report, what is AWS cost explorer, what is AWS budget. That is the first thing you have to know to help you answer questions like this. So the cost and usage report is your one-stop shop for accessing the most granular data about your AWS cost and usage. This is trying to get granular data. You are trying to really go below and see, track your Amazon easy to reserve instance usage and view the discounted rate that was charged. So you are really trying to get detail, right? More of granular. You are trying to see, you are not just trying to have an overview. You want to know exactly what was charged. So you can also load your cost and usage information into Amazon, Antenna, Redshift, QuickSight, or tools of your choice. This is some additional information that I will also encourage everyone to always remember. Cost and usage report information, you can load it to Antenna, Redshift, or QuickSight. These are other AWS tools that you can send the data to and also do more business analysis, right? So, and you can only do that with cost and usage report. There are some questions that always test to see if you know which report can you be able to send to these services. It lists AWS usage for each service category used by an account and its IAM users in hourly or daily lines, as well as any tags that you have activated for cost allocation purposes. You can also customize the usage report to aggregate your usage data to the daily or hourly level. So that's, and then the key things that you can do with the cost and usage report, as you see, track your Amazon easy to reserve instance. You can access comprehensive AWS cost and usage information. You may have questions that are asking one of these, or you may have a question that will ask for two things that you can do with the cost and usage report, right? And then the other one is leverage strategic data integrations. So as I was just saying, using the Amazon Antenna data feature, you know, Redshift and Amazon and QuickSight. So these are, apart from knowing what AWS cost and usage report is, you should also know these three areas. So I know most of you will be able to define what cost and usage report is, but maybe lacking these details. So I'm sending that to the chat for you to pick that up. And yeah, I know most people always struggle with cost and usage report and budgets, but one thing I will know is remember most granular data, and then the fact that it can go through this, you can use it to those things. Explorer is just a tool that enables you to view and analyze your cost and usage, but not at a granular level. So Explorer is correct, but correct in the sense that it has to do with cost and management and analysis, but it doesn't have that granularity that you have with cost and usage report, right? And it also does not provide a way to load your cost and usage information to Antenna and Redshift. So the data you see with Cost Explorer, you can't do the same as you do with cost and usage report. We did talk about budgets not long ago. It's just for alerting. The AWS Price List Bulk API is a URI that provides up-to-date pricing information on the AWS products and services. This API does not provide cost and usage. So what it does is just provides up-to-date pricing information on the current AWS products and services. So maybe I'll copy and paste what the AWS pricing report is all about. Okay, I wanted to edit that. So the definition of what it is important. All right. So let's go to the next question. I hope no one had a question in that. So now when I explain, I always miss out who answered. Was that Maureen? Who answered? That question was for Maureen, right?
No, I answered the previous one.
Okay, then this was Okinyo, right? Okay. Okay, okay, you answered the previous question, right? The last question that we did. So this one should be for Kinyo, right? And then, yeah, so Kinyo, just for you, which of the following purchase options offers the most significant discount compared to on-demand instance pricing to process steady-state workloads that will continuously be running for a year and also provide capacity reservation? So what's the important phrase? If you are talking, you're on mute, sorry. Except you are.
Sorry, I was a little bit distracted, so I didn't hear.
That's okay. Yeah. Yeah, I know. That's okay. The baby may be rolling. Just take your time and come up when ready.
But for this question, I would go for a standard reserved instance because first we're looking for, we don't want an on-demand in the first place, and we want an instance that will give us capacity reservation and will help us to process steady state workloads. So for capacity reservation, we'll be looking either at convertible or reserved, and as we saw, convertible is more costly. So standard reserve instance for me.
Okay. Yeah, I see two people, I think. Yeah, three people say C. Three people say C. So let's go for that. So correct is standard reserve. So the key word here also is to process steady state workloads, right? If you look at, anyway, yeah, standard reserve, yeah. So anyway, in general, reserve instances for steady state workloads, right? So you have the difference type: reserve, standard reserve, convertible reserve instances. And as Riley said, what I'll do is, let me just first copy this and share. It's good to know these differences. As a general rule, standard reserve instance provide more service than convertible reserve instances. So that's what you should have in mind. That's what Kinyo mentioned. You are looking for the most significant discount, right? So, and once you know these different types, you should know that standard reserve provides a more discount than convertible reserve instance. Yeah. So, the other ones is incorrect. This suitable for that's actually more expensive. Dedicated instance is incorrect. We didn't have we had standard reserve. We didn't have reserve instance there as an option. Savings plans is completely out of place, but you should make sure you know what savings plans is. It's a particular flexible pricing model that offers low prices on easy to and target usage in exchange for a commitment to a consistent amount of usage for this. It's cost-efficient instance pricing option, but it does not offer capacity reservation as required by the given question. But you should know what savings plans are, is actually, because you need that in other questions. Yeah. Okay, let's move on. Question 11 is for you, Leslie. I hope you're able to take a question. Which of the following are the characteristics of Amazon EC2 convertible reserve instances? Select two. So characteristics of Amazon, I have to remove all of this. I hope you can see all the options. So you are trying to give the characteristics of EC2 convertible reserve instances. Which ones will you pick? The first options, let me just read them. allows you to change the attributes of the RI as long as the exchange results in the creation of reserve instance of equal or lesser value, allows the change of instance, family, operating system, tenancy, and payment option, has the capability to change the attributes of the RI as long as the exchange results in the creation of reserve instance of equal or greater value, allows you to match your capacity reservation to a predictable recurring schedule that only requires a fraction of a day, a week, or a month, provides the most significant discount of the RI types and are best suited for steady state usage. So which of those go to convertible reserve? Okay, you said 1 and 4. Sorry, I was not. So 1 and 4, so that's A and D. I see Kenya says B and C. But that says B and C. So let's go for the majority and then review. Any other view? I think none so far. So let's go for B and C. 2 people say B and C. And that's correct. So when dealing with convertible reserve instance, there are 2 things you should know. This word convertible means, because when you always create an instance, you always have to pick the instance family. You always have to decide which operating system you use. You always want to decide the tenancy option. You always want to choose the payment option, right? But with convertible reserve instance, it gives you the possibility to change that when you are already using the instance. So that's where the word convertible surely comes from. You can convert from one instance family to another, from one operating system. So if you were using a T, what this means is if you were using, let's say, T3 micro, you could move to a T3 nano, right? If you are using a Linux operating system, you could move to a Windows operating system. Tenancy, if you are using shared model, you could move to dedicated, and same as payment options. So you have the possibility to convert. So this should be the key thing you should remember with convertible reserve instances. And then the other thing is you change the attributes as long as the exchange results will go to either is of equal value, or if you are not able to have equal value, that change should be greater. Because if you go to lesser value, then AWS can't make much business. I think this from a business perspective. If you are changing and you are getting instead lesser value, that doesn't help. So it has to be of greater value. So those are the 2 characteristics that are important to convertible reserve instance. The other ones are just distractions. This one is not true. It's not lesser value. The other ones are just, distractions. So remember, if you notice, I shared this not long ago in one of the questions. You can do this with convertible, but in standard reserve instance, you cannot change instance family, operating system, and the rest. Okay. The next question goes to, we have to move our pace. This for you, Edwin. I hope you can take a question as well. What type of EC2 instance is the most suitable and cost effective if the customer will be running mission critical workloads continuously for a whole year? What would be the most cost effective if the customer will be running mission critical workloads continuously for a whole year? Edwin, that's for you.
I think it's C, reserved.
Okay. Thank you. It says C. Why? So yeah, you're running mission. I think everyone gets this, right? When you are running mission critical workloads for a whole year, why will you not use sports instances? In this for everyone. What point in this question will make you not to use sport instances? Because that's another way. If you can explain why the other questions are answers are wrong, you are much more better. Anyone wants to?
Yeah, because the instance is going to be running continuously for a year, and it's also running mission critical workloads. So
Thank you.
the workload type and the time frame.
Yeah, that's very correct. You know, you don't use spot instances for mission critical workloads, and also remember with spot instances, they can be taken from you with a 2-minute notice, right? So it's difficult to run a spot instance for a whole year, yeah, for a year. And also, yeah, it's difficult, although the price will be cheap. What about dedicated instances? When do we use dedicated instances? That's B. Anyone remembers? So when you always think of dedicated instances, always think of the concept of bring your own license, BYOL. You always see that. So it is dedicated instances. It's like you have some companies that already bought license for some particular maybe they already had deals with other companies and they have licenses for it, right? That maybe needs to run for some time. And then maybe they want to go to AWS, but now the problem is they already have those licenses that they cost. So if you want to use that, you then go to dedicated instances and then you bring your own license there. Although, and then dedicated instances, the disadvantage is what? Are they cost effective? They are not. They are the most expensive instances in AWS, right? They are more expensive than on-demand and reserve because the hardware is dedicated to you, right? So yeah, so when I was advised that, remember when you see dedicated instance or you see, just think of the concept of BYOL, which is bring your own license. That comes up a couple of times. We have to speed up. Now if we have to do the 30 questions. So the next question is for, I think Linda, the connection, let her stay. So I'm coming back to you. I think it's Guada. Yes, that's for you. A customer is, wait, we have two. It's also, is that Guasera?
Is it?
Okay, thank you. Okay, so, right, so I'll go to Guada. I don't know, are you able to take questions now?
Not yet.
Okay, so no worries. So let's continue then. Guada, this is for you. A customer currently has a basic support plan and they are planning to use the infrastructure event management, well-architected reviews and operations reviews features in AWS. So what should they do in order to access these features in the most cost-effective manner? So what is happening in this question? Well, I'll tell us and then pick an answer.
A customer is currently planning to use the infrastructure events management, well-architected reviews and operational reviews features in AWS, and then the most cost-effective manner, which the customer should upgrade to an enterprise when I go in for a.
Okay. So this goes to the different support plans. Anyone has a different view? Can you say A as well? But unless it says A, so majority is going for A. So what's happening is the customer has the basic support plan and now is trying to use the features of infrastructure event management, well-architected reviews and operational reviews. So the main important thing is to have your, thank you, that's correct, to have your this diagram in mind and know exactly which support plans support infrastructure event management, well-architected reviews and operational reviews. So that's the key thing. You said upgrade to enterprise support plan, which is true. And if you come and look at this table, it is the only one that will have infrastructure event management as well as, because you see in the enterprise on RAM, it is infrastructure event management 1 per year, right? And the other important thing is the operational reviews, right? It should be somewhere. Infrastructure event management. Okay, it's not the operational reviews. Infrastructure event management. So that was the key points that distinguish it, right? Because if the other support plan, this one is on per year, this one is for an additional fee, the business plan. So yeah, in the model for pricing and billing, this was well covered by Lady T, and then the questions. I shared this, I think I shared this already on chat. So if you don't have that, yeah, make sure that you review that table. Before you go to the exam, you should know this table. It's always questions will always come around the table. So yeah, so that was correct. Business support plan will not do that. Developer support plan don't have that. This is the business support plan. We have seen that it has it for an additional fee. Developer plan doesn't have it at all, right? So this eliminates these two. And then the last question is none, since these features are already included in their basic support plan. Now, basic support plan is the one that almost everyone has, and it doesn't have those features. Thank you. So the next question is from Maureen. A leading mobile game company has a mission critical server that is currently down in AWS. The system administration needs to bring it back up within 15 minutes for service continuity. Which of the following support plans will allow the administrator to contact technical support to immediately resolve the issue? So a company, they have a mission critical server, but the administrator needs to bring it back within 15 minutes for service continuity. I'm just pointing the key points. System administrator needs to bring it back for 15 minutes for service continuity. So the point is, which support plan will make that support possible to contact and resolve the issue? Which one gives that 15 minutes option? That's for you, Maureen, yeah.
I said D.
D, business. Okay, I see the majority on chat says B, enterprise. So again, let's see. Sorry, I wanted to pick the majority and then I stayed with D. So yeah, so yeah, this is the other part of the question. So the correct one is B, enterprise. So this is the other part of case severity options in the support plans. If you want 15-minute response time, it is the enterprise that offers that. The enterprise on RAM has less than 30 minutes. The business doesn't even have for an option for that kind of, if you want service continuity in less than 30. So critical systems, it has a production system down for 1 hour per system. So these are some other key things to know. So I put that on chat again. For everyone to copy. So I mean, these are things that you can't explain. It's just things that either you just know that for enterprise business mission critical system down for less than 15 minutes. That's what they're asking in this question. Enterprise on RAM will be less than 30 minutes. You know, so if you are doing cost effective, you are looking for cost effective option, and they say less than 30 minutes, it's better to take business critical than enterprise, right? So I just encourage everyone to make sure that you take time and master those tables. And there's no other short way. The next question is for you, Kinyoi. Which of the following is true regarding the AWS cost and usage report? Okay, we have reviewed that. So let's see. You have to pick two. So A says helps you visualize, understand, and manage your AWS cost and usage over time through an intuitive interface that enables you to quickly create custom reports. B says provides you a dashboard that lets you view the status of your month-to-date AWS expenditure and provides access to a number of other cost management products that can help you dig deeper into your AWS cost and usage. C says it lets you set custom cost and usage budgets that alert you when those thresholds are exceeded. D says provides you with granular data about your AWS cost and usage. And the last one says allows you to load your cost and usage information into Amazon Athena, Redshift, and QuickSight.
The last two, T and E.
T and E, okay. T and E, A and C is another option. We're talking about cost and usage report, A and C. So D and E is the majority. So let's see which one wins. So it's D and E. So it goes to the, we just reviewed that, you know, so just remember this is a cost and usage report, one-stop shop for accessing the most granular data about your AWS cost and usage. So that's the first part, provides you with granular data about your AWS cost and usage. And then the next thing about cost and usage is you can load your cost and usage information in Amazon Athena, Redshift, and QuickSight. So the last one as well. Yeah, so thank you. But just which service will do C? Which service allows you to set custom cost and usage budgets that allow you when your threshold is exceeded? What will be the answer?
AWS budget.
Organization.
Right. Cost,
What
cost explorer.
yeah, which one? Yeah, so
Budget for me.
yeah, so it's AWS budgets, right?
Budgets.
Yeah, yeah. Ada, I know you surely just mean what's AWS organizations used for again, Ada? I'm sure you are thinking of something else. Who remembers what AWS?
For consolidating billing for all the accounts. Sorry, just to get the question.
Yeah, so so it's mainly used for, and what is the other thing again about organizations? Yeah, you can have the consolidated billing, and what else again? Or anyone remembers what is organizations used for?
Control multiple AWS accounts.
Yes. So we just reviewed that as well, right? When you want to control multiple accounts, centrally manage multiple accounts, right? So that's what, so organizations, you are thinking of centrally managing multiple AWS accounts, and there you can have the billing, consolidated billing feature. But when you want to set cost and usage budgets that alert you when those thresholds are existed, that has to do with AWS budgets, right? We did talk about that. This refers, so you see, it's incorrect because it refers to AWS budgets. Yeah. Right, so yeah, so this question was just asking if you know the definition of cost and usage, which we have just covered. I have that on chat already, so I'm not posting again. The next question is, which of the following provides you access to reserve instance purchase recommendations based on your past usage and indicate potential opportunities for savings as compared to on-demand usage? I think this is for Leslie. Yeah. So which of the following provides you access to reserve instance purchase recommendations based on your past usage and indicate potential opportunities for savings as compared to on-demand usage?
C.
Okay, you say C. Two people say A. Wow, we're already at 7. We have 14 more questions. I was thinking by 7:30 we'll finish. I hope you guys will be patient. I don't want to come back to this. So 3 people say A. Oh, sorry, I had to click A, right? I always go for the majority, so I stayed on C. So yeah, those who said A, that's correct. So which of the following provides you access to reserve instant purchase recommendation based on your past usage and indicate potential opportunities for savings? Remember, Cost Explorer is also used as a it's a management tool also for cost, right? And you can also see how much you have been. I think I'll have to sign in my account to show that service. Maybe everyone will remember well. I hope I can sign in without much stress. Okay. Trees. All right, so I'll have to put my multi-factor authenticator code. So while waiting for that, so yeah, definitely it's a tool as well, right? But in this case, cost and usage is not the right answer. You have to go for okay. AWS cost and usage. So the good thing is AWS even you can now see the cost and usage report, a little bit of it on the when you sign in before you didn't have it. So if you notice here, it will give me the current cost, what I'm consuming already for this month, for example, forecasted cost. If I continue using it this way, I'll pay about $61 by the end of the month. The last month cost what I had. So it always gives you an overview, but you can go to see a much more, because remember cost and usage report gives you a visual from the definition, a visual kind of report. So if I come here to cost management, I can come to Cost Explorer and yeah, it will give me a report for the last 6 months. So remember, it's a visual kind of way. It will tell me what is consuming. So if you look at this EC2 instances, other EC2 tax security hub, I'm using the key management service and then others as well. So you can have this, right? So you always have this overview and yeah, you can download it to a CSV file. Show forecasted values. So you can always come here and include what you want to see. You can see the instance type. You can decide to create filters here, right? Depending on how you want to view it, right? So, so it gives you the opportunity to see, based on your past usage and indicate potential opportunities of savings as compared to on-demand usage. So if you use those filters, you can be able to figure out what you want to do. So if you come to instance type, and then you have the different type of instance types here, you can then see which ones are consuming, and you can be able to, adjust this in a way that will give you that visualization. But always remember that the key thing with cost and usage report is when you want granular detail, right? But it doesn't give you that opportunity for save. So Cost Explorer generates your RI recommendations using the following process: identifies your on-demand instances, collects your usage into categories, simulates every combination, and then identifies the best number of each type of RI to purchase to maximize your savings. So Cost Explorer can be able to do that. But yeah, billing dashboard is something else. Budgets is so what we have reviewed. So costs and usage report cannot do this particular form. This way doesn't have these possibilities. So I'll just copy this. What Cost Explorer can do and share on our chat for everyone to catch up on that. Yeah. Okay, the next question is going to you, Edwin. Where can the customer view his reserve instance usage for the past month? So where can the customer view his reserve instance usage for the past month? I think that's straightforward. It doesn't have anything to talk about. Did Edwin answer already? Okay, I see B, C, D, D, D. Edwin said B, but the majority says D. So I'll take D and let's see. Yeah, so it's D. So if you go, where we go, and so this question is a bit tricky because AWS provides a free reporting tool called Cost Explorer, and the Cost Explorer tool is actually fine on the billing console. So we are just on the Cost Explorer here, right? This is actually, when you come to the AWS, this is actually the billing console. When you come to see this, because when you come here, you see everything that has to do with cost, right? So I thought that was a tricky question. It's just, you just have to remember where you have to view, the possibility to view where you can visualize is the Explorer, and the Explorer is found in the billing console. So that's just to remember. Okay, Edwin gets it. Thank you. So we are coming back to you, Adam. Which of the following provides you with the most granular data about your AWS cost and usage, and also load that information into Amazon Antenna, Redshift, QuickSight, or a tool of your choice?
C.
Okay. Everyone says C now. I see people are now getting at least.
Easy one.
Okay, yeah. So it's good. It's easy. So now at least it's good. Then it's everyone remembers. So it's good. So that's, I don't think we have talked about that a couple of times. So let's move ahead. Among the following payment options, which of the following can you choose when you purchase a standard or a convertible reserve instance? That's for you, Maureen. I think you did, yeah. So among the following payment options, which of the following can you choose when you purchase a standard or convertible reserve instance? You have to select two.
All upfront and
Sorry?
partial, all
Okay.
upfront and partial upfront.
Okay. So A and D. But that says A and D, and win A and D, right? So let's check and see. Those two are correct. There are only three options that we have. We have the, which one is missing here?
No upfront.
No upfront, right? So we don't have anything like bill me later. We don't have reserve payment. We don't have deferred payment. We only have all upfront, which gives you the highest discount. Partial upfront, it gives a discount, but not as all upfront. And then we have the no upfront at all. So you can always read. I copied that and shared on chat already. Thank you. So the next one is for you, Kinyui. What is the minimum support plan that will provide you access to all trusted advisor checks? Back to our table. Who remembers? That is for you, Kinyui, here.
It's the business.
Okay. I see majority support you as well. So the key thing is the minimum support plan that provides you access to all trusted advisor checks. Nice, everyone says C. So if you look at, this is trusted advisor, you realize that the developer has just a service quota and service security checks. We have just discussed what trusted advisor is, right? An online tool that can scan your infrastructure and and then advise you based on AWS best practices. So the developer has this, the business gives you full set of checks, enterprise on RAM gives you full check, enterprise gives you full checks. And the question is looking for the minimum support plan that provides you access to all trusted advisor checks. So back to our diagram is important, right? So the next question is for you, Leslie. Which of the following services is capable of inspecting your AWS environment and making recommendations to lower expenditures, improve system performance and reliability, and close security gaps? That's for you, Leslie. Which one will do that? Will it be inspector, budgets, trusted advisor, or cost explorer?
AWS inspector.
AWS inspector, okay. Any different view? I see all of, nice. Many people say A. I see all of you have been caught in the trap of AWS questions. Now, I hope everyone will take note of this question very well. Now, just because it says inspecting your environment, if you remember very well, it will say C. This is what I like. So because I know that when people get this confusion, they will not get it again. So I think everyone should sit up here as I explain. Which of the following services is capable of inspecting your AWS environment and making recommendations to lower expenditures, remove system performance, reliability, and close security gaps, right? Now, let's look at this. Just because the words have been changed does not mean that so everyone, so I did bring trusted advisor here, right? And I said trusted advisor scans your AWS infrastructure, compares it to your AWS best practices so that it can advise you on cost, on performance, on security, on fault tolerance, and service limits. When it scans, it's equally inspecting, right? This question says, which service is capable of inspecting your environment and making recommendations to lower expenditures? So trusted advisor do cost optimization, which is to help you lower expenditure. Improve system performance. You see performance here. Reliability and close security gaps. Reliability always have to do with fault tolerance, and of course security, if there are any security issues. So that's what AWS trusted advisor does. But who remembers what AWS inspector is? It's a complete different service. But I'm sure because all of you picked that, you don't remember what it is. So it's a vulnerability, it's automated security assessment service that actually deals with vulnerabilities. So Inspector is an automated security assessment service that helps you improve the security and compliance of applications deployed on AWS. It automatically assesses applications for exposure, vulnerabilities, and deviations from best practices. So Inspector has to do with a security assessment service. When you think of Inspector, think of automated security assessment service that will improve your security and compliance of applications. There's also something that it does that is not listed here. we did see that when we were doing the securities, when it's also looking for unintended network access, right? So I did do, if you go to AWS, because at times, if you come to AWS Inspector, I think it's on frequently asked questions, everyone should be getting, you see, unintended network exposure. That's another thing that AWS Inspector will do. For software vulnerabilities and unintended network exposure. So it will still inspect your workloads, but it will be dealing with, looking for, trying to look for vulnerabilities. So think of Inspector as what I think I can give it like when you install a antivirus on your computer, right? It's scanning for vulnerabilities. So when you think of Inspector, think of something similar like an antivirus software that you have in your computers. Yeah, but I've shared. So now this is, I know most of you will be like, yeah, why did I miss that? But that is the thing about when you are going for the exam. That's why we do the revision. Don't be quick to answer questions, right? Always try to, or don't be thinking that, because at times questions may look very easy, but immediately it's looking easy. Be very careful, because that's when you can answer it wrong, because the wordings may be fooling you to think of something else. So when you pick an answer, then I always say, even if you read a question and you feel like this is the answer, look at the other options and try to remember what they are, because in doing so, you may realize that, maybe what you are picking is wrong. Yeah. Majority of you did fail here, not because you don't know, but because I think you didn't take time to reflect on the question. So I hope the explanation helps. Let's move to the next question. We have 7 more questions to go, and we have planned 9 minutes. I hope you will be patient so that we finish this. This one is for you, Edwin. You have an Amazon Linux EC2 instance running for an hour and 30 minutes. How will AWS bill you in terms of usage?
It's A.
You will bill for an hour and 30 minutes according to the per second billing rule. Okay. You have support from 2 people. So you have an Amazon Linux EC2 instance running for an hour 30 minutes. You will bill for an hour and 30 minutes according to the second billing. So that goes with how are you charged. So let's go for that. So the correct answer is A. So they are built, Linux instances are built in a per second duration. So if you use it for 1 hour, 30 minutes, you'll be billed for 1 hour, 30 minutes. So that's what everyone should remember.
Also, what I remember as well was that Windows operating system is built per hour.
Per hour.
So
Right.
Linux is built per
Minute.
second and Windows per hour.
It should be per minute, right?
Yeah, per minute.
Yeah, Windows is per minute, yeah.
Yeah, per minute, sorry.
Yeah, okay. And thanks for bringing Fokinyo. I was also like listening, and yeah, so Windows is per minute and Linux is per minute. Yeah, correct. So good, yeah. I hope everyone captures that when you see Linux, because so don't just think about, you have an Amazon Linux EC2, so the word Linux here is important. If it was Windows, it's per minute. If it is Linux, it's per second. Which payment plan will give you the largest discount when purchasing EC2 reserve instances? That's for you, Guada.
Which payment plan will give you the largest discount with just in case it's all upfront payment for a 3-year term purchase. That's the
Okay. I see. Can I support you? What about the others? We have touched about these different options.
C.
Okay. I have 2D or 3 Ds and 1 C. Remember, you are looking for what? Largest discount. So let's go for the majority and see what's the option. So all upfront will always give you the highest discount, the largest discount. We have 3 types of payment: all upfront, partial upfront, and no upfront. The all upfront will always give you the largest discount. And also when you pick, if you go for 3-year term, because 1-year term will give you a discount, you go for 3-year term, it's also the more discount you get, right? So just know that partial upfront will not give you, it will give you discount, but not as all upfront. And then no upfront doesn't, yeah, it's just the normal kind of discount you get. Okay, so let's move to the next one. And please stop me if you have a question. I want us to finish the remaining 6 questions, so I'm a bit fast now. What is the lowest support plan that allows an unlimited number of technical support cases to be opened? That's for you, Maureen. Now it's back to our support plan table again. But this time, unlimited number of technical support cases to be opened. Which support plan will do that?
Business.
Okay, you say business. I see 2 people says B. Anyway, so let's just go straight. If it's and C, it's developer. So to figure out that, you come to enhanced technical support, and you see that we are looking for unlimited number of business cases. What was the question again? Sorry. Unlimited number of technical support cases to be opened. If you look at the business case, we have the business case, unlimited cases and unlimited contacts. But the developer will have unlimited cases and 1 primary contact. So it's developer, right? So developer has unlimited cases. So from developer, you can open unlimited cases. So just think of it this way. Once you have a business support plan and you are paying some money, you can open any case. You can open unlimited number of cases if you have issues with when you are working with AWS, because you have a support plan. So you can open unlimited cases. It doesn't have to be business here because there's the developer plan, right? So it goes back to this table, right? We have talked so much about knowing that table, and yeah, so let's go on. A customer is choosing the best AWS support plan, which includes a designated technical account manager. Which of the following should they choose? That's for you, Kinyoi.
Enterprise.
Okay. Enterprise, you say A. Any different view or support? Okay, thanks. The majority is saying A. Yeah, so which is very good. Immediately you see the technical account manager. That's it's in an enterprise. And it's not just, I think it's dedicated, right? Designated technical account manager. Enterprise on RAM was introduced of recent, and it always have a pool of technical account managers. So if you notice now, this is the difference where everyone should notice the enterprise on RAM and enterprise. Before, we didn't have enterprise on RAM, but this has just been introduced. So everyone has to see the difference. So on the enterprise, you have the TAM, which is designated technical account manager. And you should know what they do. They monitor your environment and assist you with optimization and coordinate access to programs. That's what technical account managers do. For the enterprise, you have a designated technical account manager. For the enterprise on RAM, you have a pool of them. So you don't have someone that is dedicated just to your account. You have the pool of them, which is kind of disadvantageous, but it's still good, right? Because when the one is dedicated, that means or designated, you know that everything, you always go to that account manager. So the difference between enterprise on RAM is a pool of technical account manager, and on enterprise, you have a designated. At times, they may ask a question where they will also want to, they will pick designated and access to online safe Pace Labs. You notice that enterprise is the only one that has access to online safe Pace Labs. All the others don't have. So these are cases where if you know this table very well, immediately you hear access to online safe Pace Labs, enterprise should come on your mind. Concierge support team, these ones are in charge of handling billing in your account. They're only available on enterprise on RAM and enterprise. So if you are looking for the most cost effective for these two, it will be enterprise on RAM, right? So yeah, it's that table. Make sure you review it. Question 26. This should go to who? I'll leave it open. Please, if you know the answer, just let me know. Which of the following allows you to set coverage targets and receive alerts when your utilization drops below the threshold you define? We have talked about that. Which one will be that answer?
It's
Can you said something?
yeah, AWS budget.
Thank
Budget.
you. Budgets. Yeah, so I see the majority say budget. So you have to know what Trusted Advisor is as well, what Cost Explorer is, Amazon CloudWatch Billing Alarm. Now, what's that? Although you can use this to monitor your estimated AWS charges, this service still does not allow you to set coverage targets and receive alerts when your utilization drops below the threshold. So this is a case where when you really know what the answer is, you don't even look at this. But it's always good to know what that is. But from what it says, they say you can use this to monitor your estimated AWS charges. So if you want to monitor your estimated AWS charges, you may have a question that is asking that, right? So maybe for those of you who have not seen this service, just write it down and research more on that, or at least keep what we have had in mind. So the next question, which of the following allows you to categorize and track your AWS cost on a detailed level? Anyone can answer that. What will be the right question, the right answer, sorry?
The cost allocation tax.
Cost allocation tax. The others are quiet. Remember, it's going to allow you to categorize and track your AWS cost to a detailed level, right? So let's see what that is. It's cost allocation tax, right? But what's consolidated billing? It's just a feature in AWS organization to consolidate all the billing and payments for AWS accounts or multiple accounts or multiple Amazon Internet Services PVT accounts. So the consolidated billing is a feature to consolidate all of your billing. Budgets, we have just reviewed that. Amazon Aurora Backtrack allows you to easily undo mistakes on your database. So this, yeah, if you perform a destructive action, you can backtrack the database closer to a time before the distraction. So this is just a complete different service. Okay. The next one, which of the following AWS cost management tools enable you to forecast future cost and usage of your AWS resources based on your past consumption? Everyone should answer this.
Cost Explorer.
Cost Explorer. I see someone says AWS Focus. Two people say Cost Explorer. So I'll take B. Now, just because it says Amazon Focus is just a trick. Remember, at times AWS can just put terms there to confuse you. The key thing is, we have just looked at the cost and management. I went to my cost and management. Remember when I just signed in? Oh no, where did I go? Right? When I just signed in, the question here is talking about enable you to forecast future cost and usage of your resources based on your past consumption. That's the reason why I did sign in here. You see, cost and usage, it tells me my current cost. It forecasts what I will pay if I continue using at this amount. So this is the forecast, and it tells me the last month cost. Yeah. So yeah, so that is what's all about. Okay, yeah, that's quite okay, Sabella. Yeah, so it's Cost Explorer. So Cost Explorer will help you. So Amazon Focus, I'm not sure there's a service like that. Let's see. Okay, Amazon Focus is a managed service that uses machine learning to deliver highly accurate forecast of any time series data, such as retail demand, manufacturing demand, travel demand, revenue, ITC capacity, logistics, and web traffic. So Amazon Focus is something else. It has nothing to do with billing and pricing, but it's good to know service, right? So yeah, just because we are looking at forecast, it doesn't mean. So Cost Explorer will tell you what's happening in the future, right? Let's move to the next question. A company is planning to adopt a hybrid cloud architecture with AWS. Which of the following options can they use to help them estimate their costs? So a company is planning to adopt a hybrid cloud architecture. Which of the following options can they use to help them estimate their cost? I see Edwin says, okay, two people say D already. So you want to estimate your cost before you move to AWS, right? So you can use pricing calculator. And maybe, I don't know, I think I can have that immediately here. So you are trying to move to AWS and you want to figure out what will be the cost of using So if you go to AWS pricing calculator, this is what you get. It's just anyone can use that. You want to create an estimate. So maybe you want to, let's say, go to the region. I'm in Frankfurt, I'm in Germany, or pick Frankfurt area. Or let's just see, yeah, let me just pick Frankfurt area. But I can pick anyone. I can say I want to go to use the Paris area. And I want to use EC2, right? So I come here. Did I move a bit fast? So I'm just saying everyone can go and try to use that tool, right? You go and pick the region where you want to be. And you see, you want to use operating system is Linux. Interminimum requirements, I want to use 4 VIP. I can change this value. Memory, I want to use 16 gigabyte. And then, you know, so if you just keep all of that, you can be able to see how much it will cost you, right? You can be able to make an estimate. I'm just a little bit fast here because of time. But the general idea is you can actually come and configure an approximate of what you want to have. So if I choose the region and I pick a particular service, I can be able to estimate how much it will cost. You have or how much that will cost, which is this question. You want to move to AWS and you want to figure out, you want to estimate what will be your cost of running in a particular region. You can go to the pricing calculator and put all the figures and get a value. Which of the following actions will AWS charge you for? What does AWS charge you for? Network charges for the transfer of data from your data center to S3 through a VPN. Will AWS charge you for that? Yes or no?
Now, transfer of EC2 files between two AWS region. That's a D.
So you say A is a no then, right?
No, it's a no.
Okay. Okay, you said this. So what about provision elastic IPs and attaching them to running EC2 instances? So everyone agrees with D.
Yes.
Okay, so then let's check and see. So it's D. So the other one says, now let's talk about this one because it's an important point. Provision elastic IPs and attaching them to running EC2 instances. AWS will not charge you. On this particular phrase, when will AWS charge you? Who knows? You provision elastic IPs and you attach them to EC2 instance. AWS will not charge you. What will you do for AWS to charge you? Okay, I'm not sure many of you know about it, but let me then come in. So if you provision an elastic IP and don't attach it to an EC2 instance, AWS will charge you. But if you provision it and attach it, AWS will not charge you. So if you just provision an elastic IP and it's sitting and it's not doing anything because it's wastage, AWS will charge you for that. So just remember, that's the difference here. As long as it's running on an, you create an elastic IP is just like a dedicated IP address, right? That you want to give to your instance. So if you have it attached to an EC2 instance, AWS recognize that you are using it, they will not charge you. But if you don't attach it, then you'll be paying for it. So just remember that. It could have been maybe provision elastic IP and not attaching to a running EC2 instance. Then this will also be an option, right?
Excuse me, sir. It's only when the EC2 instance is running that is being charged, or when it's stopped, then it's not charged.
Well, I'm talking about elastic IP, right? We're talking, is that a different question or you're asking in relation to this? What I was explaining is if you provision an elastic IP and you attach to an EC2 instance, you will not be charged. Okay. But if you provision an elastic IP and you don't attach it, you will be charged. Because an elastic IP is a dedicated IP address, right? But what you are saying is if you have an EC2 instance, that's a complete different question. If you stop it, you will not be charged for the compute. So you'll not be charged for the EC2 instance when you stop it because you are not using it. Because that's when you stop an EC2 instance, you can save costs. But as long as it's running, you are charged for the compute because a running instance consumes CPU and RAM. So that was a different question, but this one I'm talking, yeah, that's fine. So this one I was talking about elastic IP, attaching it and not attaching it. When you attach it, you are not charged. If you don't attach it, you are charged. All right, okay, I think that was a long one. I hope those who did miss this session will catch up, but let me get the PDF file. And then that will be it for today. So let me stop recording.